All right, guys, Rooster here in Tennessee, and this is going to be my free advice for the day. Pyramid 52 amp PS52KX in front of us. I'm going to sell this one. I'm going to sell it cheap. Well, I guess cheap. 50 bucks probably, local pickup, because it's heavy as heck. These older power supplies like this, they're probably becoming kind of a thing of the past with all the switching supplies. I've got a 600 amp power supply sitting down here at my feet that's probably physically it's about the same size as this, but it probably weighs about the same or half as much. And again, this is a 52 amp versus a 600 amp. So you got these power supplies transform around. They're much heavier than your switching power supplies. Now, where's my free advice for the day come in on this? There's certain items out there in the radio world that I just tell people to avoid absolutely. And yes, I am selling this. I'm going to sell it to somebody cheap, like 50 bucks. But these 52 amp pyramids are probably the worst power supply that Pyramid ever made. Now, you may have one out there that you've been running 20 years and never had any trouble out of it. But I've probably had myself half a dozen of these fail. And that's not running a lot of power through them either. Something like a 2-pill 2879 drawing 30 amps, 35 amps tops. I've seen them give up. So they were a nice concept, variable voltage, which goes up, according to the voltmeter on it, almost 16 volts and down to, 13? Got an amp meter on them. Back in the day, these things were nice. Multiple terminals on the front. But I have put them into protection mode and blown them up with not very much drive. Now, Pyramid did make some good power supplies, or maybe they still do. I don't even know if they still make them anymore. But they did make some good ones. I've got several 7 amps, 14 amps, and those things are absolutely hard to kill. I've ran little 2-pill 1446s on the 14 amps. And they made a 35 and a 46 that were also good power supplies. But never was much of a fan of the 20 amps. Definitely don't like the 52. And they made a 84 or a 85 or something that was a very big power supply. It was actually on a caster's wheels. It was very heavy. And it was a good power supply. What little time I had one of those. But my opinion, if you're going to get one of these, I wouldn't run over 300 or 400 watts into it. PEP. Don't think that you can run I wouldn't hook like a Texas Star 500 up to it, Texas Star 400, maybe Texas Star 400. Probably like a Texas Star 350, 2-pill 2879, maybe. But I would still be cautious. That's my free advice on these. Buyer beware. If you're out there in the used market, I know not a lot of people have, tons of experience buying used radio equipment. So I like to do, little videos every now and again, give people a heads up on stuff to kind of avoid. And yes, even though I'm selling this one, selling it whatever, relatively cheap, don't go out there and pay $100, $200 for one of these. They're just not worth it. You find one at a bargain, 50 bucks, maybe 60 bucks or something. That's one thing, maybe 75 if you're really needing a power supply. But don't go out there and spend more than that on one of these because they're just not worth it. At the end of the day, what you could end up with is just a cabinet. Now, what you can do, and a lot of people like to do, is when they blow up, gut them out and fill them up with switching power supplies. You've already got some terminals here. You can add some larger terminals on the back, you could put a pretty decent size switching power supply in this, probably a couple hundred amps if you wanted to. But that's about all they're good for. Low power, and if they blow up, don't even fix them. Just gut them out and put some switching supplies in them. That's my thoughts on the Pyramid PS52KX. Definitely not one of the better power supplies ever made. All right, thanks, guys. Rooster in Tennessee. See you, bye.